Vigilante Williamson here on another episode, the 45th episode, and the first episode of the year of the Culture Crime Fighters. I'm joined by none other than my partner in Culture Crime Fighting, Matt from Foulball Productions. How you doing, man? How was your New Year? How's everything?
Everything is just fine and dandy, Vigilante. Thank you so much for asking.
Yeah,
I think we saw how the New Year went. I mean, we were live.
That's true.
Yeah, and I got a little toasty there.
I think we all did.
Mm-hmm.
So,
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got turned.
Yeah. I remember parts of it. I do remember parts of it. And I did like a streaming marathon that day, but I don't remember all of it.
Yeah. Oh, so I was gonna say unprecedented, live on Rumble, but we're not, are we?
No, I forgot. I don't even really know how to do it.
Ah, jeez. Ah, heavens.
So yeah. Hopefully next time we'll be live on Rumble because I do want to get that going.
Yeah, I mean, I sent you the embed code. So
did you?
I did. I emailed it to you. I guess I should have followed up with a Discord message too.
Yeah.
But, yeah. We're trying to broaden our streaming horizons and get online and try different platforms. Rumble is one of them. Not today, unfortunately. But
yeah, you sure did. Look at you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my mic's low. Thank you, Patton.
Damn it.
Thank you, buddy.
Well, anyone who's been following knows that StreamYard and me are fighting, so I don't know if I can do anything with the free 99 version of StreamYard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It doesn't let me do shit now. I'm like, fuck.
Oh, so you can't do multiple platform streaming anyway?
I don't think I can.
You gotta bite the bullet. You gotta swallow your pride on this one and just get back on it, or find another platform, one or the other. There's a lot of other ones. We could do Restream, stuff like that.
So I've been using this XSplit. I don't know how to do the same thing we do on StreamYard, so I have to learn that because I like it. And I think I can do multiple platforms with that, and I know I can with Restream because I've done Restream before.
Yeah, look at Keely Chow, all positive, saying next week episode going to be live on both YouTube and Rumble. That's right.
Yeah,
Keely Chow.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Trying to make this whole thing happen, trying to get this, continue the push of the culture crime fighters. There's lots of culture villains out there who need to be slayed. So, we're trying to just keep it up, keep it going. Speaking of which, we do have a Patreon.
We do.
Culture Crime Fighters, Secret Identities. New episode should be up right now. There's two that came out just this week because me and Vig very professionally recorded an episode for the week where I was going to be away. Well, Matt forgot to upload it to the Patreon before he left, so there was nothing to be done for that. So if you are a patron, and I know a few of you are out there, we have two episodes up this week. One is childhood mischief stories. Us kind of getting into trouble when we were kids, which was, a fun episode.
Yeah.
And then this week was awful jobs that we've had in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. All the episodes are fun. Please join. Please indeed join our patron. Hey, think of it like this. It's like $1.25 an episode, $5 a month. We do 4 episodes a week. There you go, Pat ass. I appreciate it. It's like $1.25 an episode. It's like for less than a bottle of Coca-Cola.
Bottle of water. Yeah.
Coca-Cola tells you to be less white. And for less than a bottle of Coca-Cola a week.
And we tell you to be more white. So
there you go.
Which one do you want to subscribe to?
Exactly.
But they're really fun. It's a slightly different vibe. It's more like just hanging out with Matt and Vig instead of you fucking this is woke and I don't like it. Not that we don't like doing that. It's just a different vibe.
Yeah, different vibe. You can learn more about us. We talk about more. Yeah, just personal and other stuff. It's been really cool. It's been really fun, and I love it. I do too.
It's really, really fun. It is. If Central Dildo says paying for Patreon is very white. We don't discriminate. So any color is invited, even Croatian.
Yeah, there you go. Green is the color we're more important with. Actually, it's not really green. Money's been all multicolor. But it's mostly green. You know how it's all like blue and all this other shit.
Yeah, well, we're Americans, so.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Well, hello, everybody.
And hell, lovely Sherry. I see people are tuning in. No, this isn't a stream of me because I've been just doing retro gaming streams since we've last met. So this is an actual talking, normal formatted stream from the channel because it's the first Culture Grindfires episode in a while on the channel because of the holiday and shit. So yeah, we do have quite a few different things to talk about. You were telling me pre-show about Patton Oswalt. Like, I kind of wanted to get in that before we got into some of the other stuff. Because I was just like, what's going on with this guy?
This guy, he's such a little cucky bitch. Yeah. So, all right. So, the headline from the LA Times is Patton Oswalt explains himself after, quote, nice Dave Chappelle post goes sideways.
Okay.
Now, before we tell you anything more, what does that sound like to you? What are you imagining? What are you projecting just based on that headline alone?
My guess is because Dave Chappelle is like persona non grata. He must have said something about him being funny. And then all the like trans activists said, "Oh, no, you're a bigot." And he said, "Oh, no, I hate the black people you hate. It's okay." And he cucked. That's my guess.
That's why I love you. That's why I love you. That's exactly right. This is the Bounding into Comics. This is the Bounding into Comics title. Patton Oswalt apologizes to woke mob for sharing New Year's Eve picture with Dave Chappelle. I'll always disagree with where he stands on transgender issues.
That's even worse. He took a picture with him.
That's
not. You're not supposed to do that. Yeah.
Can you believe it? So, do you want to hear it from the LA Times point of view, or do you want to hear it from Bounding's view?
You know what? I'll go with the LA Times. We always listen to Bounding.
We sure do.
I want to see what the other side thinks about this. What's their perspective?
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it all watered down and bullshit.
There you go.
Okay. Patton Oswalt doubled back over the weekend after attempting to have a, quote, nice comment thread on a photo he posted with longtime friend and fellow comedian Dave Chappelle. Now, this is pretty funny. Both comics were performing at Seattle Center venues Friday night. Oswalt at the 3,000-seat McCaw Hall and Chappelle at the 17,500-seat Climate Pledge Arena. Ugh. I didn't know it was called... Sorry, I didn't know it was called the Climate Pledge Arena.
I love it.
Hold on, before we go any further, what is that virtue signaling bullshit?
Well, it's in Seattle. Of course it's the Climate Pledge Arena.
Well, who is the cucky fucking ESG ass corporation that was like, well, no, we're not going to name it Progressive Insurance. We're going to name it Climate Pledge, or who is it? Who is the...
Probably just... directly just like some evil organization. They're gonna have some like really nice name, like the Organization for Trees and Love, and it's gonna, you look back and it's just like a bunch of crazy Satanists.
They're like child slavers.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, Patton Oswalt, we're all talking about him to keep him away from your kids.
So wait, so it doesn't. I do want to know what corporation. Like,
that's even better. You can't find out.
It's not in the Wikipedia article. It's certainly not like immediate. I don't know. I just want it. It's got to be. It can't just. You have to, right? I mean, everybody.
It has like little naming rights and stuff like that.
Yeah. Seattle mayor.
Oh, in partnership with Amazon.
There we go.
Amazon is the. It says the Climate Pledge Arena is the most progressive, responsible, and sustainable arena in the world in partnership with Amazon. Because we know Amazon and all their cars and all the shipping magnet, they add nothing to the climate whatsoever.
Which I don't even care in either direction. I don't care if Amazon's doing that, and I don't care that if it actually is the most sustainable, arena in the country. If it is, I think that's honestly a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But the only reason they call it that is because all the little woke little commies out there, if it was called the Amazon Arena, would be like, blah, blah, it'd spurg out because it would be a billionaire and big corporations. But as long as we pander to you and make you feel like we care, you won't get upset at us.
Yeah, that's definitely that. But no, I do care because I'm sick of the hypocrisy. I'm sick of assholes who ride private jets yelling at me about the climate. It's like, motherfucker, what do you want me to do? You telling me turning on my light on and off. That's gonna destroy the climate. But you get on as many private jets as you want. You spend all the fucking money on all this other bullshit, and then you tell me what I'm supposed to do in my life. Go fuck off.
Yeah, you have like 6 houses that are like climate controlled year round, and it's like I'm supposed to like take a shorter shower.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
It's completely ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. So I did a little aside from the climate pledge arena. Ugh.
Let's see what happened with Patton Oswalt. As I can talk about weight, but
dude, Seattle sucks.
Yeah,
all right.
It does.
Chappelle invited his longtime buddy to do a guest set, after which Oswalt posted a photo of them together and a note in the spirit of the season. Also, by the way, like the fact that like one section of Chappelle's like arena show, you know what I mean, could be Oswalt's entire show. It's pretty funny.
Because I don't mean maybe he sold out that. That'd be funny. He probably didn't sell out the 3,000 seat arena. I mean, I don't want to see Patton Oswalt.
He might. I mean, he's a pretty big name.
I guess.
And that's a commie ass town, so you know.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But finished me set at McCaw Hall and got a text from @Dave Chappelle. He wrote Friday on Instagram, "Come over to the arena he's performing in next door and do a guest set. Why not? I waved goodbye to this hell year with a genius I started comedy with 34 years ago. He works an arena like he's talking to one person, charming their skin off. Anyway, I ended the year with a real friend and a deep laugh. Can't ask for much more."
Actually sounds nice and pleasant.
Honestly.
Genuinely nice and pleasant. Like, hey, it's the end of the year. Known this guy for years. Got to say hey to him. Sounds all dope and holiday-esque, so to speak.
Yeah.
Timing isn't right this time.
And respectful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, kind of like just cool. Like, it honestly sounds like a pretty cool thing to do. Plus, it's a compliment, you know? It's like, wow. The fact that you'd even think about that after you tweeted it or whatever.
Yeah. It seems so pleasant.
Yeah. Now, Chappelle has been a lightning rod since he came under fire last year for making comments that many perceived as transphobic in his most recent Netflix special, The Closer. The fallout led to an employee walkout and protest within Netflix, along with the pockets of support. Oh, I like how they say there's pockets of support. They make it sound like the majority opinion is that it's transphobic, and then there were just sort of some outliers, some alt-right outliers.
Exactly.
Who, disagreed. It's like it's very much the opposite.
Yeah, it is. I mean, because didn't they? What happened with that? Didn't like hardly anyone actually walk out?
I mean, I think we covered it. There was a pretty big protest, but it wasn't.
Well, there was a big protest, but I mean, as far as the actual Netflix employees, I don't think that many people actually walked out. I thought it was just like a small group of people, and that the CEO ignored them.
I mean, that's pretty much what it sounded like to me. They were just sort of like, "Yeah, we're gonna hang on to our cash cow, thanks. Your feelings don't really matter." And then the story went away.
Yeah.
Which it should be a lesson to all these corporations and stuff and people who feel this pressure. If you just don't bend to them, they eventually give up and move on.
Yeah, they have other woke things to yell out. There are other people to eat, so they'll just go to the next one.
Yeah, there was like one billionaire who didn't virtue signal hard enough. They got to get on that.
Yeah, they'll find them.
They don't actually have any power. Like, just stop adhering to them and you'll be fine. It'll all just go away.
Yeah, you're the one giving them power.
100%.
These like these super woke companies give a few people on Twitter the power to do everything, and it's like at a certain point you guys just say, okay, we don't give a fuck that you're mad. Fuck off.
Yeah, like it doesn't actually matter that you're upset about anything. You can just be like, we heard you and we don't care. And then what are they going to do about it? Nothing. Oh, we're going to boycott you. You don't have, it's not like the majority of Americans are on your side and they're going to be like, yeah, totally. They're going to be like, we don't even notice this is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hell, I still think the majority of Americans probably didn't even notice this was happening. I think some probably did, but like we get all, caught up. We're all in this world. Most people don't care.
If I mentioned my mom, like, hey, Mom, what do you think about the whole Chappelle trans thing? She'd be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. They're like, huh? Because most people don't really care about this stuff that intimately. You know what I mean?
Because it doesn't actually matter, really. It's just an ideological battle that has like these weird like lines that kind of push back and it's like unless you're sensitive to that or you care or you have the free time to pay attention, you're not even going to notice because it's not like the only thing that changes is the cultural conversation.
Yeah.
And then the laws. But
unfortunately.
First, yeah.
But like this is really just something that you guys in the chat, we care about. We've kind of, taken up arms in this culture war. But I mean, a majority of the culture war is still normies don't even know it's happening. So like, this is still something that's just like a few people make a huge deal out of it, sometimes on both sides. And then when you really look at it in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't actually matter that much.
Well, it's not to say it doesn't matter.
It matters. It has a long-term impact. But when I say it doesn't matter, normal people are going to go about their lives regardless of whether it happens. Now, I guess where it does matter because, like you said, laws and some of the sneaking,
yeah,
they also wake up to the craziness when it's at their door.
But look, this stuff does start on the internet. It does start on Twitter. But like, that's why Jordan Peterson is a famous personality, is because he was like, this isn't just like a benign thing. Like, this is really restrictive and dangerous, and like the legal repercussions of these types of laws have like long-term ramifications for the freedom of this nation. And like, he was 100% right. And so it's like, I kind of don't like when people dismiss it, when they're like, oh, it doesn't matter. It does very much matter. It's just most people don't have the time to weigh in on this or talk about it or even think about it.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe I should say don't matter, but it's not. It doesn't move the needle maybe as much as we like to give it credit for, even if there is obviously an impact. I mean, there's this is how they govern school systems now. So this is having a real life practical impact.
Exactly.
So there's that. Yeah, Red Skull demands you make your bed.
Yeah, I'm actually right now. I'm on Mad Mardigan's recommendation. I'm listening to that Cynical Theories by James Lindsay.
I never even. You've kept speaking of James Lindsay, but I have not heard that book.
It's co-written by this woman who I can't think of. I can't think of her name. Yeah, I know, right? And Mad Mardigan recommended it.
What the hell?
I know. I don't know what's going on. But it's true, and it's really interesting because it details like from like an academic point of view where a lot of this began, like the philosophy, how it sort of grew into what it is, and like what it means. Like it is actually coming at it from a fairly socially liberal point of view, and it does a good job of parsing out like what are traditionally like liberal values, and then like what these people are doing, like comparatively, which is a pretty interesting angle, I think.
Yeah. So real quick, this is unrelated to anything. I was just about to tweet the link, and I see some of you guys already have some toxic man flu and stuff like that. But like how it has like the follow media includes potentially sensitive content. Our stream is considered sensitive content by Twitter.
How?
At least, I don't know how.
What, like on what, Toxic Man Flu's tweet?
Yeah, when you go to the tweet.
Hail Toxic Man Flu, by the way.
Hail Toxic Man Flu. And thank you anyone else who tweeted. We please, sharing is caring. Please, please, please share, because the more you share, the more people know that the stream is happening, and more people watch, more people enjoy it, etc., etc. But I'm like, we are fucking,
I don't see that though on Twitter. Where do you see that on Twitter?
I see it in Toxic Man Flu. He has Vigilante Williamson. Foulball.
No, I see the tweet.
Yeah, well, for me, it just shows the actual, like where it shows the link. It shows like a sensitive content warning.
Huh? Mine doesn't.
Huh? So they're just trying to hide my own content from me. It looks like.
That's weird.
Very weird. All right, as long as it doesn't show to other people.
That's really strange. Well, all right. Anyway, I mean, look, we've been saying it for months now. We feel we're being suppressed. So that could just be evidence in the it's definitely happening category.
Yeah.
But whatever. We're just going to try to put on a good show with what we have. So
yeah.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Toxic Man Flu.
Hell.
And yeah, you're right about that fucking site that said everyone who was on Twitter and YouTube was leaning right. What was that shit called? Conservatube or some shit? Where they had that different, not rewriting Ripley, but that one guy had the site and it had like a quotient for how right or left everybody was.
Oh, yeah. Like they had Gary on like the alt-right side.
Yeah. That site. I wonder whatever happened to them. Maybe it's sold all the shit to some woke ESG company and just went away. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of we were talking about that, like how so many of the alt tech platforms, it's like really still just like one or the other.
Yeah,
you know, it's like it's still like what Getter or Parler or even Minds. It's like it's still like this is the conservative version. It's like I don't want that either.
Yeah, people want fun things. I keep saying this. You need the stupid videos. You need cat videos. You need girls twerking. Once you have those things, people will show up.
Yeah, but the thing is, like the sites that control the narrative, they're the ones who have a monopoly on that stuff.
Yeah, and so I think that's the mistake alt tech makes. They just try to add a conservative spin, and they just want to be conservative. It just wants to gear towards.
I don't know if it's their fault. I think it's just that they put it out there as a place where you can actually communicate in a free way, and then that floods in with alternative voices, which right now is the right side of the conversation.
True. Well, Gab and Parler seem to court that side. Like, no, we want Trump and we want conservative guys and we want Rand Paul, and it's just cool, but it's just like. That's not what people want to be entertained by, because people do use social media as an entertainment source.
And it's still alienating. Like, unless you're the type of guy who's, you have to be Fox News all day long, and you also want to be on social media talking about it as well. It's like that's a pretty narrow part of the population, and also like it's very specific. Like you have to be one of those guys to find that entertaining, and I'm personally not one of them.
Yeah, me neither. And freedom of space is not considered conservative. Shaking my head.
Yeah, no, he's right. I mean, that's the weirdest thing, and that they've done such a good job creating that narrative that anything varying is now conservative. It's like when we say the TERF thing, like trans exclusionary radical feminists. It's like the idea that men are men and women is considered radical. That's radical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that you can define your own gender, even minute by minute. That's not radical. It's radical to think that there's something wrong with that.
Yeah, stop being a bigot. That's normal. That's the new normal that we're installing everywhere. That's the new normal. Deal with it.
Yep. And if you have a disagreement with that, well, you're probably alt-right or conservative. And people are like, well, I'm certainly not that. I would never think to be conservative.
Yeah.
Because
you're one of those Trump supporters, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. And because, they did such a good job like making it uncool to be on the right, that still has a stigma attached to it. It's a really crazy time. This article.
Speaking of that stigma, you can't even take a picture with somebody you've known for 34 years.
Well, hold on. You can. Now, this is not like...
Well, I'm about to say without backlash.
But the story here is not what the backlash. The backlash is, we're just saying, it's like these people don't actually matter unless you give them power. The story is fucking cucky little Patton Oswalt bitch being like, oh, I'm so sorry. I never meant to offend. I certainly wouldn't agree. Like he just panders to them immediately, caves to the pressure in seconds.
Well, part of that that's his brand. He built up wokeness. He's a woke.
That's right.
Comedian, so he can't be seen to be not woke. So you're right that he's being a cucky bitch, but this standard is to create a cucky bitch out of us all, right? So like, oh no, you're not able to do this with certain people because they're on the wrong side of history. You're not able to be friends with certain people if they don't agree with what we all agree with.
That's right. And I was hearing, like, I was so irritating. I was listening to Jim and Sam talk about this, and I honestly had to turn it off. I was like, they were like, oh, you know, why does everybody think you need to agree with things all the way down the line? I'm like, first of all, not everybody thinks that. This is very much a stance of the hard left and the people who dominate the social conversation. So don't apply this standard of demanding conformity, otherwise we're going to boycott you, to everybody. There's a very specific sect of the population that does this.
Yeah, but that is there, everybody. That's the same sect. I mean, Jim and Sam, I know they're not like hardcore leftists, but they kind of, I don't want to say bend the knee. They lean. Yeah, they
lean, and they don't do, I don't think they go far enough with understanding exactly the nature of the demon that they're facing, which is frustrating because I was listening back on old Opie and Anthony. They were the guys calling this shit out like 10 or more years ago. You know, yeah. they've been on the front line of this conversation for so long, and it's like you think that they would be even ahead of the conversation now, but now they sound, especially Jim, sounds behind it.
Well, because they want to be behind it because they get a lot of money from SiriusXM. So that's true. It pays to be behind the times. It pays to and then at the same time, they don't want to necessarily offend the people who know it's bullshit. So they just try to, you know, come with this middle of the pack, act ignorant towards it, as if they don't know, and that way it's easier to kind of appease both sides.
Yeah, and maybe he genuinely doesn't see it. But it's like, well, then you haven't explored anything in the conversation since. Because if you have listened to anything that Jordan Peterson or Brett Weinstein or James Lindsay, any of these guys who are not conservatives, who are not, you know, they don't have an agenda other than to, you know, address how our conversation is being hijacked. It's like, if you haven't listened to any one of these extraordinarily influential minds, it's like, then you just are not participating in the conversation as it presently exists then.
Yeah. And Sean Connery versus Applesauce brings up, Patrice saw it all coming. He saw it coming. I mean, the shit that he says is still kind of like passed around, like clips of things he says as memes, almost for what modern, like how it actually ended up. Mm-hmm. And since you did, I sort of agree with this. Is that who normal will be on the front lines of all this retarded shit? Because hell, even I'm trying to back off the front lines of a lot of this retarded shit, just how stress and how annoying it is. But at the same time, Jim and Sam aren't normal. They are, you know, highly paid commentators. You know what I mean? So they kind of have a certain almost like, not necessarily to be the front line, but to just ignore there's something, you know.
Well, look, they don't have an obligation to do anything. It's just that the way they were addressing it was pissing me off. I was like, you cannot honestly say that this is like, oh, if he said something anti-conservative, that it would be the same kind of backlash. That's such bullshit. Yeah. That's such bullshit. This is 100% because it's a trans issue and it's a hard left issue. It's part of this wokeism cult. It's 100% about that and the all of media having to conform to the narrative. Like, are you seriously telling me it's anything other than that? That's what was pissing me off.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they have to be blissfully ignorant, intentionally ignorant of it.
I think it's intentionally ignorant. You know, I think it's, you know, and I heard, not to keep bringing up the same exact names all the time, but I heard James Lindsay could like say this, like the false virtue of like being in the center. You know what I mean? Of just being like, well, both sides, fuck that. There is a difference. And it's like, even if both sides do it, one has significantly more influence in the social conversation. So it doesn't really matter. What matters is the power.
It depends on the conversation, because sometimes the other side is kind of help facilitating it, but a shittiness. That's another conversation. True. But like, when it comes to criticizing, I mean, as much as I criticize the conservatives for their ineptness and all this, it's no doubt who is the aggressor, who's the one pushing all of these bullshit narratives and eventually policies. Who's the one, you know, coming up with I talked on this channel about the fucking bathroom.
Who's got the power? Who's got the influence? Yeah. That's what matters.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. It used to be the right. We've talked about that plenty.
Yeah.
It used to be the Catholic League.
You know what?
And there was a widespread censoring of content and what was allowed to be out there from the right. So it's not really about the side.
I don't think they were as powerful as the left is now. I think it was a lot more balanced. Even then, yeah, you would get censored stuff on the radio, censored stuff on TV. So that was a huge part of the influence. But you didn't get like people trying to fuck up your life, people trying to fire you, people trying to do all this shit.
Yeah, they did though. There would be people. That would try. They would boycott shows. They would try to get them taken.
But I'm talking about celebrities. They wouldn't. You couldn't. You weren't a normal person who disagreed with some Christian conservative view, and then all of a sudden there were people calling up your door and calling up your job just as a normal guy. Granted, there was no social media, so maybe if social media existed,
that's a pretty significant difference.
But I feel like there's a level of vitriol that exists now. Maybe that's just the times in general, but there is a level of vitriol that exists now that's like, okay, yeah, they said they didn't want shit in stores. They may have burnt the book, but if you were a regular person, you were pretty much safe. You could think how you thought.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point. And quite frankly, like no one was doing that back then.
Yeah.
Like that really wasn't the angle. Yeah, I mean, it definitely came out of the this hard radicalization and this sort of like the cult of wokeism. It's true. Yeah, that's a good point. But it is important to just remember that it's really more about power than anything.
True. Very true. Very true.
All right.
Let's get more into this.
Okay, so the fall. Okay, but commentators weren't letting Oswalt. Commentators. They make commenters. Commenters, not commentators. So, all right. Commenters weren't letting Oswalt off the hook for touting his friendship, let alone performing. Whoa, I'm sure this isn't a biased article. With a quasi-canceled person, at least not without an explanation. Quasi-canceled.
This sounds really communist left bloc like.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Bloc, I mean.
With an enemy of the state like Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. Jesus.
With the wrong thinker, Dave Chappelle.
J. Jonah Jameson is more fair to Spider-Man than they are being to Dave Chappelle. It's just like completely biased. But he says, "Do you want to read it? I can read it." I was just about to read what. All right, go ahead.
The explanation came the next day, but not before Oswalt had deleted a lot of the comments on his original posting. He deleted comments. What a bitch.
Marshmallow man.
God damn, you can't even take it from your own people? What a pussy. I naively deleted a lot of posts in the comment thread, critical ones from LGBTQ writers and posts by TERF anti-trans orcs. Orcs?
I thought orcs were black people. What's going on?
Oh, they're the bad people. Okay, TERF anti-trans orcs. Okay, so he's okay. I was like, wow, did he just call these like trans activist orcs? I'm like, that's pretty base. But no. It was the other people who, right. So he like, people would be like, oh, I can't believe you're actually supporting him, because since you're such a lefty cuck little bitch. And he was like, delete.
Yeah.
I imagine. He wrote, I wanted a nice comment thread about the pic with my friend. Ugh. Ew. You wanted a nice comment? See what? You wanted to control how people had the conversation?
Yeah. Patton is right. Like, we need more reason to hate Patton Oswalt.
What a puss whack.
Jeez. He says after pray, you can go on. I don't know if you were...
After praising Chappelle as the funniest comedian I've ever met, he wrote, he's refocused and refined ideas. A lot of us look as settled about race and history and life on planet Earth and spun them around with a phrase or a punchline. Yeah, we know. We understand, Patton. And
he also make woke sense. Like, he said things about race, and that's woke, right? You still,
Right. Yeah, he's just scrambling to be like, no. It's not that I agree with that. It's the other points he made about other issues, things we all agree on, right? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What a wanker.
Racism is bad, and he thinks so too. He's black. So, just please don't take away the kids.
So pathetic. But we also 100% 100% disagree about trans rights and representation. I support trans people's rights, anyone's rights to live safely in the world as their fullest selves. He makes it sound like Chappelle's punchline was like, and then go murder them, okay, guys?
Exactly. I'm sick of this idea that our point, that anyone who has a different point is like, we don't want, they're not, those kind aren't wanted around these parts. That's not what we're saying. We're saying, hey, you can call yourself whatever you want. Out of respect, call you whatever you want me to. But don't tell me, don't like have Fallon Fox beat Katie's ass. That's all I'm asking. And I don't think I'm crazy to ask that.
Or also, like, I do believe in objective truth, and I will call you a woman, but you are not a woman.
Yes. That's it. I'm respectful.
Sorry.
That's fine. But no, you're not actually a woman.
You're not actually. I mean, you even if you are inside, you were born in the wrong body, so you're still a guy.
Yeah.
Like I'm not playing this fucking game.
Exactly.
Like, and it's like that has nothing to do with your safety.
I was just about to say, you don't want them to live safely from.
Like, how does that affect their safety?
They want to be safe from words they don't like.
There you go. That's not
what
what's safe. That's not what's. You can't be unsafe for my opinion you disagree with. Like, if that's the case, then you're making me very unsafe.
Yeah.
Because I strongly disagree. Opinions. Yeah. I'm very unsafe by your bullshit. In the closer. Also, like, I don't even think Chappelle's stance was that harsh on any of this stuff, right? He just kind of like, he was very respectful to the trans point of view, wasn't he? He was just kind of making jokes about it.
Yeah. Real quick, we just got a tip from Cosmic Confusion, not just Cosmic Fusion. Don't dead name him, you bigot. Speaking of trans rights. Got a $2 tip. He says a $2 tip for my favorite white supremacist. So I'm assuming he's talking about you. But he gave it to me. So thank you. Thank you.
He also, oh, hey, Brandon the Anime Guy's back.
Hey, Brandon the Anime Guy.
Hey.
Back from the dead again.
Back from the dead. He's alive. He's a zombie. He's Jesus. How's it going? Cosmic Confusion also sent me $2. And it says, holy shit, you shaved the mohawk. Now what are Dildo and I going to make fun of? Yes, I did shave the mohawk and trim the beard up pretty mightily. These are real world obligations.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to look a little bit more respectable in the real world, at least for now. Unfortunately, it's not something I really want, but I conformed, guys. I didn't stay punk. Your favorite YouTuber sold out.
Yeah. Sold out to the man.
I did sell out. But hopefully it'll be back. This is the look for now. I don't think it's going to affect much else.
Yeah.
Look at me, like, suddenly it was like all my powers in the mohawk. And I'm just like, I don't know. Patton makes some good points. Like, I just think maybe we should just be nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what? I'm going to say it. Who said it in the chat about Patton Oswalt? Yeah, Zach said it. Patton Oswalt clearly hates black people. That's what this
That's my conclusion.
That's my obvious conclusion. He's clearly a racist. He hates black people. Mm-hmm. You know, there you go.
Clearly, I mean, you know, one of the most prominent black icons, he just made him look like a fool.
Yeah.
You know, which in a way makes all black people look like a fool.
Exactly.
So, Patton, I want you to apologize for your racism, and I'm going to put out an official boycott on your work until you apologize for being an anti-black racist.
Yeah, I want an apology to all, 20 to 30 million? You need to apologize to each and every one of us. So you need to come across me and say, hey, you know, I know I don't know you, but I just apologize for what I said today.
Yep.
And maybe after you cry and whine like a bitch, maybe I'll forgive you, you bigot. Fuck you, Patton Oswalt.
It's like, this is what's just so weird about the way they structure these articles and this conversation. In the closer, Chappelle said, among other things, that he supported Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling, who has been labeled as a trans-exclusionary radical feminist, or TERF, for expressing her sentiments about trans. Who labeled her? Like, a bunch of nuts, a bunch of people on Twitter who have like this agenda in every single thing that exists. So just because they labeled him that, so what? That doesn't actually matter. It's not like he went to court and then they got like, you know, like he's on the trans exclusionary radical feminist list. It's like, this is just like someone's opinion.
Or is he?
Like,
you know what I mean?
But you know what I mean? Like, it's like, there's nothing official about this. Like, it's just a bunch of people who have an opinion about it. Like, to be labeled, it's like, okay, I'm sure Chappelle's also been labeled a racist or a homo. Like, he's been racist. So what if he's been labeled things? What does that matter?
Well, that's the framing. This is why I wanted to read the New York Times version, because you want to get that framing. And this is how they frame everything. This is how they put everything in perspective, where it's just all like, they make their opinions as if they are already news facts. And so there's a lot of that sort of thing going on. He's been labeled that. So like, that's what he is.
So that's what he is. It's like, no, so what? Like, people get labeled things all the time. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Ugh, I hate the world. J.K. Rowling wrote all the Harry Potter books by herself, and they canceled her because she said gender was a fact, Chappelle said in the special. And then the trans community got mad, and they started calling her a TERF. I shouldn't speak on this because I am not a woman, nor am I trans, but as we've established, I am a feminist. Ugh. I'm team TERF. I agree, man. Gender is a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty lame anyway to call yourself a feminist.
Yeah, feminism's still trash. So whatever. But I guess at least you know, men are men and women are women. So I gotta take the good with the bad.
So this is more of and I'm getting bored of this story, so I want to move on.
Yeah.
He's saying, I think Patton's response. Yeah, he said, I also don't believe a seeker like Chappelle. A seeker, is that is that one of their terms?
What does that mean? Is that like some racial epitaph, Patton Oswalt? The fuck you mean seeker?
It sounds like ally or something. That sounds like one of their terms. That sounds like when they, you know, people who aren't on their side but are trying to figure out the ways of the woke. That sounds like that's what that term sounds like. I don't know if that's just something Patton says or if that's one of their terms, but it sounds like one of their terms.
Sounds like latent white supremacy to me, but whatever.
I also don't believe a seeker like Chappelle is done evolving, learning. You know, someone that long, see the struggles and changes, it's impossible to cut them off. First of all, like, no, like, inkling or possibility that like, your whole worldview is bullshit. Not even slight suggestion that that's a possibility. Obviously, Patton and the rest of us all have the right opinions, and Chappelle will come around.
Yeah, even if you don't want to say your worldview is bullshit, there's no human acknowledgement that, hey, we don't all agree on everything all the time. I can disagree with him and still be friends.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
That was honestly Norton's point, where I thought was like a decent point, was he was saying that. It's just like, I don't have to agree with all my friends on single thing they say.
Yeah.
But so that's not good. We know, though, that's not good enough if you're a wokey.
But like, why not? Like, I get that Patton Oswalt is a complete cuck. He's a marshmallow man. He's a bitch. But he would have had at least some respect. And bro, Zach saying this thing about seekers, this is where my thought literally hit. I'm like, because I don't trust the left and I don't trust the wokeness. In my head, they're the actual legitimate white supremacists. So when he said seeker, I'm like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? I'm sure it didn't, but I'm not sure. But like, I thought a better point, even though he probably would have said it like a bitch, because he is a bitch, a better point Patton Oswalt could have said, like, hey, this is my friend. He's still going to be my friend. Friends don't always disagree. I'm sure a lot of people spend holidays with people they love and disagree with. That's life. At some point, we do have to get back. I know they won't, but you can't, like,
but it's part of the agenda is to not even associate with people that disagree with this stuff. Like, remember that. Like, that's part of it. Like, it's an all or nothing collectivist movement. You can't even be seen to be associating with these people.
But that's insane.
Of course it's fucking insane.
And so that's my thought. Like, okay, I guess Patton Oswalt doesn't give a fuck about any normal person paying attention to his shit. But
does he? Does anyone? Does he have normal fans?
I don't know. I'm surprised that he even has fans. And Rough Girl is this is what I mean by normies don't know what's an NPC. Rough Girl's semi-normie.
Really?
She hasn't. Yeah, a non-playable character refers to a character that you can't play with in the game, like one of the side characters you talk to. And we use the term NPC because it's like they're programmable and they all do the same thing.
Yeah, it's like if you go up to like an NPC, like in a video game, would be like the town merchant, right?
Yeah.
And he only has like a set amount of dialogue options that he can say, and he just says them over and over. And so like the reason they call the NPCs, like the woke people, that is because they only have just a set of talking points and they just say it over and over like an NPC. Yeah. Like there is no human interaction. It's just like a program.
Yeah. There you go.
Which is a brilliant and one of the best criticisms. I mean, when that meme came out, I was like, that was a really good day for me.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, you nailed it. Like that is whoever like came up with that, like whatever 4chan person came up with that, brilliant.
Yeah. So thank you, Rough Girl, for saying that, because that's one of my points. Have a regular life. Most people still don't know this. It's happening and don't know what everything is, and they're not, the first time they hear about it will be the next time they hear about it will be their first time hearing about it. You know what I'm saying?
No, and it's good. Can count yourself lucky of a regular life.
Yes.
All right, so I want to finish reading this Oswalt quote, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, because taking a lot of the show.
It's impossible. Okay, see the struggles. It's impossible to cut them off. Impossible not to be hopeful and open and cheer them on. I've been carrying a lot of guilt about friends I've cut off who had views which I couldn't agree with. Well, all right, this is actually pretty decent. Or changed in ways I couldn't live with. Sometimes I wonder, did I and others cut them off, making them dig their heels in deeper, fuel their... so it's like...
Jesus.
I could have stuck around and converted them. Not like, oh, maybe we shouldn't be alienating people because we disagree with them. Just like, if we cut them off, we can't help them. Oh, my God.
Christ.
How are you in this cult and you don't realize you're in this cult?
Well, because nobody in the cult realizes they are. Nobody. And that's why that's why I don't want to be in a cult that just yells at this cult. You know what I mean? We're just like, oh, we just yell. Like, because sometimes, I don't want to become an NPC either, where I'm just screaming out the same talking point. So that's where I got to try to sometimes challenge. That's why I do think it's important to not go super hard, but at least question some of these thoughts. Not this shit, because this is like obviously bullshit, but question some of the other stuff and question, because you don't want to just join another cult.
No, I agree. I don't think that we have, but I see what you're saying. But the irony of these people is that they're the same ones who are so anti-religious because it's like, oh, it's like this collective mindset. And you don't even think for yourself. And you just have to go along with it. It's like, oof.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
To me, this whole era has let religion off the hook as not actually being the cult. Because everyone's just, religion's been so responsible for so much evil. And it's like, well, maybe there's a bunch of evil humans that will use, even if religion wasn't there, would use something else as a catalyst and as an excuse in order to do all this shit. And it's kind of has proved it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like, I was listening to that Cynical Theories thing, and it was like the way they broke it down. It really did just sound like a branch meridian. What are they called? Branch
Davidian Branch Davidian.
Like. It did sound like that the way they talked about it. Yeah, it was like they believed in something, and then it's just sort of become this, Borg mindset, and they're all just like in it, and like there is no disagreeing. Like, it's really a pretty intense point of view, but it kind of made it I don't want to say harmless because it's still very harmful, but a little easier to wrap your mind around.
Yeah.
When it was broken down like that for me.
Jonestown, Jim Jones, as a reference that Rough Girl said, but yeah, that does give you that cult vibe.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, fuck Fat Oswalt. Don't keep your kid. Don't have your kids around him. Drinking the Kool-Aid. That's exactly what it is. It is drinking the Kool-Aid. It's drinking that woke-aid and just sipping it up and like, yes, because like there's just that lack of humanity, man. It's like we're all. I don't want to be somebody that's like, oh man, if somebody does think that fucking there are 150 genders, but they're cool, I'm not gonna hang out with them because they think it's like, okay, I just won't have a conversation about gender with this person because we don't agree and I don't really care about. I don't even care. If someone's cool, someone's cool. we're not gonna all agree about everything. We don't agree about everything. We do a show. We've done a show for over a year together now. I know you're eating, and so I gotta kind of
the difference. There is a difference though when it comes to woke people, because the issue is they see absolutely everything through that lens.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not encouraging you to break off relationships with someone if they're woke. That doesn't matter. It's just in my experience when it comes to woke people, like they're some of the most rigid and stubborn and often like really uncharitable to you and your point of view about things if you don't like see the world the way they do. So when like what's fucked me up is like when things that have come up in my life that have nothing to do with politics or something like that, well then they'll apply the privilege lens to me at like for instance, I got fired off a job for standing up for these people who were just being completely exploited. Like it was these dishwashers, and I was shocked at how horribly they were being treated and how much dishes they were giving them. And I was like, they're going to be here for another 3.5 hours just because I just know how long this is going to take, because you don't have they're hand washing all these dishes for an event that was like 400 people, like multiple courses. I was disgusted. And like I eventually just went off on the event organizers on just how horrible this is to treat people like this. And then I got fired, and I was talking to a friend of mine about it, and he's just like, yeah, it sounds like privilege to me. I was like, me standing up for someone else because they couldn't stand up for themselves, that's privilege? What the fuck are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
And like that's the kind of thing where it's just like that, like they see the whole world, everything through that lens, no matter what you say and do, and however it's just like, so it really is like racism. It's like they can't separate, like who your identity from anything that you do.
Yeah, and actually that's where speaking of racism, I think the concept, because my assumption of the application is, well, those people didn't have the ability to stand up for themselves, and just because you had the ability to stand up for yourself, you must be in a privileged position. But here's the truth: every motherfucker on this planet has the ability to stand up for themselves. It may not, and we're not in a country in America where if those dishwashers would have said "fuck this," they would have been tossed in the furnace. That's not where we are. So everybody still has the ability to step up or stand up for themselves. You're not a privileged person because you stood up for people. That's insane.
Far from it, in fact, because if losing that job cost me money that I don't have, I did it because it was the right thing to do, not because I could just go back and sit in my fucking mansion.
Yeah.
Like, it fucked me, but it was just wrong, and I knew it was wrong, and I stood up on their behalf. They didn't ask me to do it. I don't even, like, I was just like, this is fucking wrong no matter what the context is. Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, that's the point. That's not the point. Wasn't really that. The point was just how like the woke people like see the world and like will judge you and be very like cruel because that's how they see everything.
But you know what? One thing I will say, and this is really to your experience, you were in one of the wokest places on earth in LA, and then you went to Austin, still probably top 5 to 10. So there's a certain amount of like concentrated wokeness that you probably experienced that I haven't. Because there's woke people here, but they're like half-ass woke. I mean, not half-ass, 3/4 ass, because there's still some wokeness. But it's just like I've been able to at least argue, maybe because I'm black and they're just like, I don't know what to say. But I've been at least able to like argue people out of like diehard positions and say, well, I guess.
No, you're right.
I've been able to get those. Well, I guess.
No, it's a good point. It's like, yeah, it's like arguing with like a Nazi in Berlin.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, you're right. It's like this is the soul. This is like the hive mind of the entire organization. Yeah, okay, absolutely, good point. Yeah. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Still, fuck those people. You know what I mean?
Fuck the world.
You know what I mean?
So the two title things are the two things that I really do want to talk about. Either Antonio Brown.
I think you're gonna have to change the title because we just talked about Patton Oswalt for an hour.
Yeah, I'll talk Patton Oswalt. But man, did you see Antonio? I know it's sports ball. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea here.
I did see it, and I do want to talk about it, but I did want to take the opportunity because we made it an hour to remind everyone that we do have a Patreon, the Culture Crime Fighters Secret Identities, on Patreon now. New episode is up where me and Vigilante talk more work stories like I just shared. They're a little more lighthearted and fun. Me and Vigilante share having awful jobs and how bad it is, and it's really fun. $5 a month gets you 4 extra shows a month. They're all an hour long, and they're all really good. Take a look.
Yeah.
So sports ball.
It's not gonna let me say the change, man. So StreamYard is really. It makes me want to pay for it less. That like I can't even save the changes.
You can't do it now. You can do it afterwards.
Okay. So sports ball. As we know, football, it ain't ballet. They've changed the rules. They've made it a little less contact, but it's still really violent game. And I say all that to say this: if you don't know, I almost called him Pittsburgh, even though he hasn't been in Pittsburgh forever. Antonio Brown, former Buccaneers receiver, had this kind of famous meltdown on Sunday where he left the game. He threw his jersey into the crowd and he walked into the tunnel. And he left the game, and then after the game, the coach said they're cut, even though I don't think it works like that. So he may have to take some time before he's officially cut. But
he's off the team. He's so off the team that he couldn't fly back with.
Yeah, he didn't fly back.
They wouldn't let him. Not that he didn't. They didn't let him. They're like, all right, you're stuck here now.
Yeah.
Because why did you explain like exactly what happened?
Well, what happened is the whole controversy came over whether or not he had an ankle injury, and the trainer and the coach thought he was faking it, and they cut him, and so he left.
Well, that's not how I heard it.
I heard he got cut they at the moment said, you know what, we're not going to let you, or some shit where he was basically cut then, and that's why he left. Other people said that just the issue itself is why he left.
What I heard was that they wanted him to play.
Yeah.
He said, I don't want to play. And they said, you have to play. And then that's when he went on the field and made that big protest, and then they cut him.
Yeah, I heard that he said, I don't want to play. And they said, listen, you're going to fucking play or we'll cut you. And he said, fine, sort of thing.
Okay. I mean, so some variation
of that.
Basically play or you're cut.
Yeah. And he said, all right. And he had his ordeal. And yeah, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and subscribe to Matt if you want to see this next week. Because I'm sure you want to see this next week. Subscribe. And Keely Child, that's where my point was going, man. Because everybody is coming at him.
Even OJ.
OJ said something? OJ, come on, bro.
Orenthal James Simpson said that that behavior was inexcusable.
You can't.
That's the angle you want to take?
You can't.
OJ, after you murdered 2 people, I would be like, I'd be like, CTE does some crazy things to people. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'd float out there.
I'd be going the other way. Like, man, this football is a rough game. It messes with your brain. You might do things you wouldn't normally do. You never know.
That would be my angle.
That would absolutely be my angle if I was OJ. You know what I mean?
Good Lord.
Like, and I played in the 70s. We didn't even have helmets. You never know, man.
The balls on that guy.
You can just snap sometimes, man.
Because there are people out there who've made the excuse for OJ because they're like, the CTE might have created the frustration in his mind that where he would do something like that. And when I heard that argument, I was like, oh, that's actually not a bad point.
Yeah.
But OJ dispels it because there's no excuse to walk off the field. So I guess there's no excuse to murder your wife and a waiter then.
Jesus, yeah. Golly, because, one of the things I was thinking about is the wrestler Chris Benoit. He murdered his wife. He murdered his wife and his kid. He just spazzed out. Or I was thinking about Junior Seau, who was this great linebacker, one of the best linebackers of all time, and fucking shot himself in the chest with a note asking people to study his brain because he knew something was wrong. Or is that...
Now, that's not entirely true because I did read up on this.
Okay.
That was apparently the intention, or his family made it, but there was no... He didn't leave a note. He left a note that had... But it was a lyrics to a country song that a friend of his wrote about how it was about a guy who regretted who he became as a person or something to that effect. But no, that was not true. Apparently that might have been someone else, but it wasn't Junior Seau because I looked that up just the other night.
Thank you for looking that up. I should do research and shit. And thank you for correcting me. So I'm not.
That's all right.
Just Alex Jones and the show.
But who's the other guy? That's Aaron Hernandez and like
Aaron Hernandez. But yeah, he killed multiple people.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
we do see some extreme violence from football players. Now, is that because they're violent people, or is it because of the CTE? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that hit that Vontae's perfect that was a Keely Child reference is really vicious. Like even for the era, because he's getting kind of pushed and he's going in one. Oh, you have it queued up. There you go. That's good production.
Yeah, baby. So this is so. Well, people are speculating that Antonio Brown like behaved like this, and he hasn't been the same ever since this hit. And then when you hear that, and then you see the hit, you're like, oh, okay.
And it's not only that he had already played 7-8 years in the league, had already been a standout wide receiver.
17?
No, 7 or 8 before this hit.
Oh, okay.
Like before this hit.
Oh, before this hit. Yeah,
so
yeah.
My point is, it wasn't like he was a rookie player, got hit, and then lost it. He had already had an established personality. He may have been arrogant, but he wasn't crazy. He didn't do all these acting out, didn't have all these incidents off the field. He was just a guy, another guy in the NFL who was a standout wide receiver. And then this hit happens, and he's never been the same since.
He's in the middle of the field.
Yeah, you'll see.
So you can't really see it there. It just happened in the middle.
Yeah,
but those are going to show the replay is kind of disturbing. Yeah,
and you can see he had trouble getting up, and he was
he was.
I
mean, and he like ragdolled, like he went down hard.
Yes, I honestly have never seen a hit this vicious that I could think of offhand. I mean, I know
Hines Ward threw that block on that Bengal guy who broke his jaw and ruined his career.
He did do that. I do remember that. Yeah, those crackback blocks. And actually, to further the story, a Pittsburgh player, Juju Sheesh, I always fuck up his name, but actually got that same guy in a future game with one of those type of Hines Ward blocks. It was pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's a kind of Hines Ward had a lot of plays like that. As good as he was pretty dirty.
Yeah, those like hidden blocks where he would just basically crack a guy's head open.
It was essentially a hit from the back, but he knew exactly like the blind spot where legally it wasn't, but it was.
Yeah, because it was basically a hit from the side. You hit from the side, and you can tell because they have helmets, so they can't. They don't have peripheral vision like that, so you can tell they can't see.
And he was looking the other direction. Yeah, it was a pretty vicious block. But this is the hit, and look replay.
Yeah, it's all right.
Right here.
Goes across the middle. And then here it goes.
Ooh. Ooh, dude. You see it from this angle?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's all head.
That's a really bad hit. Like,
yeah.
He hits him full on with the shoulder pad in the head.
Yeah.
And completely defenseless. He didn't even see this guy.
No.
Like, just boom. Oh, and look how his head just bangs around. Like, wow. That is such a bad hit.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a miracle he didn't break his neck. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, right. It's a testament to, like, just how athletic and strong he is. But, oh, my God. Like, just damn near killed him. Oh.
Yeah.
So that's gonna fuck with someone's personality. I mean, that's very reasonable to conclude that had something to do with why he's acting out.
Because that's Spawn. That's like 3 or 4. Maybe it's been like time keeps flying. Maybe been 5 years from now. But like, because Rough Girl said he's been talking crazy shit on Twitter for years. I mean, a lot of that came after that hit. That's kind of the. And I'm not the only one. A lot of people have that theory. A lot of people have that theory. You know, I know we're not sports wars, kill each other. We're doing our best.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, yeah, Theismann's leg. That was pretty bad. Or, if you're for legs, fucking Willis McGahee in the national championship, his fucking leg went just the wrong direction. He was still, it was terrible. But, like, man, I'm not saying just show sympathy. I'm not a person that believes mental illness is an excuse to do crazy shit. But like people are talking, oh, he shouldn't be like he doesn't deserve the privilege of the league, and I'm thinking like, he probably shouldn't fucking play football anymore because all he's doing is giving himself more concussions. Football's a monkey's paw. we look at it as a privilege. It is no.
That's not where when you said monkey, it wasn't the first thing I thought of.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I was like, what did he just say?
Bigot. Monkey's paw. If you don't know what a monkey's paw is, it's like something you make a wish, but there's a negative consequence. You get your wish, but you get a negative consequence. So that's what I mean by monkey's paw.
It's a short story.
I'm sorry, I was in a room full of alt-right racists that they only think one thing when they hear monkey.
Stop it.
But no, it's a monkey's paw. It's something that, there's this great benefit to playing in the NFL. You get millions of dollars, you're world famous, but there's a toll that happens to your body and your mind. And there have been lots of people throughout history, they get older, they can barely walk, they can barely move. It's not like somebody brought up AC Milan. It's not like, European football. I know Citadel calls it gay rugby, but like pro football, boxing, MMA, even hockey, these type of sports, man, they fuck you up. You're not.
See, I wasn't the only one. She said, "Thank goodness you said monkey paws." See, I'm not the only one. Fucking even Rough Girl thought it. Fucking call me a racist. How dare you? No, but no, it's true. It's like who's that guy? Mark Gastineau, one of the New York Sack Exchange from the '80s.
Yeah.
He regrets ever playing.
Yeah.
He says he wish he never played.
Because he probably fucked himself up.
Mm-hmm. And it's like there was an ESPN 30 for 30 documentary called Broke. Did you see that?
Yeah, I've seen Broke before.
Dude, it was something literally where it's like almost everyone who plays professional sports ends up losing all their money.
Yeah, like 70%.
Yeah, it was like 75. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Incredibly high. I remember, and you might think, oh, well, they all fucking just buy watches and shit. No, most of the time they're getting ripped off by family and friends.
That was part of it. A lot of it is you don't realize how much they pay in taxes because like it's salary, so it's like it's not like capital gains where like you're making money on investments or whatever. Like it's a paid salary, so you have this, and you're in this huge tax bracket because of that. So you give so much of it back. Then you have to give your lawyers, you have to give your agents. There's like all these fees and shit like that. Like so much money that just it's these giant contracts, and they get less than half of that. Which I'm not gonna cry for them, but it really was. And like they're kids. Like
22.
Yeah, do you remember being 22? If someone just handed you $10 million, would you, put it in an IRA fund and like, you know what I mean, drive a Civic? Probably not. I wouldn't have.
Yeah, and then you have like some of these people are taking care of like 30, 40 people, like family, friends, and shit.
Yeah, there's that too.
Deion Sanders, one of the greatest players of all time, said back when he was playing, he was like suicidal depressed because he had to take care of everybody. Mm-hmm. And just the idea is like, well, if I don't get interceptions this year, my family's not gonna eat. Like 30 people won't have food, and that's And I'm 25 years old.
I think that's a cultural thing. Like I think there's like the we all come up together kind of thing where it's like you don't really have an obligation to do that. Like, I mean, you can help out your mom. You know what I mean? And maybe like your nephews or something, but like everyone should not be relying on you.
I agree with that.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
But there's a lot of people who think like that.
It happens. I mean, you see rappers with entourages and shit like that. It's a thing.
Or Bernie Kosar, his dad took his money. He just ripped him off.
Yeah, there's that too.
Use your family. Oh, I'll have my cousin or my auntie or my dad or my mom be my manager, and they're just as bad as somebody you don't know.
Absolutely, yeah. Or it's just bad investments and people not like Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson. Like these guys worth like $500 million from fights. They lose it all. Yeah,
fucking. And again, they're punch drunk. Fucking Evander Holyfield was putting multiple bowling alleys in his fucking house. Multiple? So I'm not saying feel sorry for these people. They are making incredibly bad decisions, but they are also like fucking up their quality of life. You know what I mean? LeBron James, he plays basketball. That's like, you're not gonna fuck up your quality of life with basketball. Basketball, baseball, soccer, I would trade places with those motherfuckers in a heartbeat. But football, I don't know.
I always thought I would too, but the level of competition you are existing at all the time, like I think that takes a special kind of person. I don't think that's just because you can do it means you can compete at that level. Like you need to be like a samurai.
Yes.
you know, out for blood all the time. Like, I don't know. That sounds like it's a stressful life.
It is. It is. And I'm not sure if it would, like, if it's actually worth it to not just deal with that stress, that need to be at a certain level just to be baseline. But I mean, again,
having your pick of the litter of supermodels might take your mind off it for a while.
But that's a gift and a curse, because those supermodels,
that's true too.
You know, all those hot supermodels that you were bedding today are asking for child support tomorrow.
That's a great point. Actually, I was listening to I think it was Ryan Long was talking about it, and there was like some girl out there who put out like a TikTok on basically how like teaching other women how to trick athletes into like getting them pregnant so that they can. And this chick was smoking. So I was like, oh, okay, I see how that could happen. She's like, yeah, and athletes are kind of dumb. Like, so she was, you know.
I saw that. Yeah,
Did you see that? It was like, her name was Barbie something. She was insanely hot. So it's just like, you kind of think like, oh, that won't be me. But then it could totally be.
It would be me. It would definitely be me.
Yeah, it's like, who was that? Antonio Cromartie, the former cornerback for the Jets and the Chargers, had like 16 kids or 17 kids or some shit like that.
Jesus Christ. Wrap it up, dude. After 5, getting a vasectomy.
After 5? I mean, like, how many goddamn kids do you have to have before you're like, maybe I should kind of watch my own ass here? Yeah,
man. I can see you just like, because, I mean, a lot of them popped up pretty quick, because you could have like 3 or 4 kids. You could potentially have all 16 in 1 year, depending on how much you're getting. You know what I'm saying? Very easily. In the Instagram era, you know, there's all these different girls in your DMs. You flying different thoughts out.
Yeah, I think that's where I would get in trouble.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and, I know myself. I'd 100%. That's where I'd get in trouble.
So I don't know if I trade places with them. As I've gotten older, a little wiser, like I said, basketball, you don't fuck up your life with basketball. There's no basketball players who can't remember their kids' names and shit.
Well, I told you, like, when I hung out with DiCaprio.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a bit of a stretch, but when I was in the same room as him, but it was like, he was so competitive. Like, I tell that story about there was like a dinner party that I was bartending, and then they eventually asked me to sit down, which was like I felt like a kid at the adult table. But DiCaprio wanted to play that celebrity game where you like give clues to who the celebrity is, and then you like, you know, in like a set amount of time, and then you get points and like whoever wins. But it was like a nice dinner party. But he was so competitive. Like he wanted to win in that room. It was like mostly like girls. It was like the Hilton sisters were there. Like, it wasn't like a bunch of dudes. It was like, but he's just one of those guys. It was just like the agent, the agent who hired me to do that job said, like, the night of the Golden Globes, like when he lost and whoever the other guy won was at the whatever, their house, DiCaprio wouldn't even look at the other guy because he beat it. Like, that's how competitive he is. It's like,
he's one of the. I mean, well, you hear the same shit about Jordan. You hear the same shit about anybody that's great. I think you were on something earlier, man. Like, it's a different mindset. Like, you can't just be, oh, I'll just be a guy. It's like, no, you have to be so next level competitive. You have to have something about you that is so extreme in order to succeed at that level, that extremeness is going to be in other elements of your life, whether you want it to be or not.
Yeah, like I heard my buddy told me about Will Smith, like, not that he knew him, just that he read this interview or whatever. But it was like Will Smith was saying, like, if he's at the gym and he's on the treadmill, he has to be going faster than the guy next to him. Like, he has to stay on longer. He has to work out harder. It's like all the time you got to be that competitive. But then you look at like how successful these guys are, and you're like, I guess that's what it takes. I don't know.
Yeah. And Fizz Chozo has to go. I appreciate you, Fizz Chozo.
Later, homie.
Jordan. Killy Child. Yeah,
subscribe to the Patreon.
Yes, subscribe to the Patreon, Fizz. And subscribe to Fizz. He has a channel. Did Leo take things personally, as the Michael Jordan quote goes? I took it personally.
And I took that personally.
Yeah.
It seems like it, according to that Golden Globe story.
That's great.
Speaking of which, let me see if I could pull it up real quick. It said I read this in the DiCaprio the movie he's in now, the Don't Look Up movie, which apparently is just a one-note, ham-fisted COVID like analogy. Where it's just all about the coof. And just like, oh, yeah. And it says, Don't Look Up has ruined Leonardo DiCaprio's nearly decade-long fresh acting streak. What that means is every movie he's been in up until now has had a fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's actually incredibly impressive. That's like very hard to do. Like, you got to give him some credit, not just at picking roles, but at even with Rotten Tomatoes being as corrupt and janky as it is, I'm still very much impressed by it.
I think most people universally like Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't really think, it's not really. He's not a polarizing guy. I mean, he's really into the climate change, but it's just the one thing, and he seems very genuinely active in it. He doesn't seem condescending or preachy, or I feel like I'm not overwhelmed with it. It doesn't seem like he picks like political projects, like. It's like, all right, that's his hobby. He's going to save the world. Okay. It never bothered me. But it says the mixed reviews for new Netflix film Don't Look Up have spoiled DiCaprio's untarnished reputation on Rotten Tomatoes, having ended a streak of nearly 10 years worth of fresh acting credits. DiCaprio stars in the movie as Dr. Randall Mindy. Ew, that's a terrible name. Dr. Randall Mindy, as an astronomy professor who, along with astronomy grad student Kate DiBiase, Jennifer Lawrence, discovers there's a comet heading towards Earth. And as you can read in this metaphor, the comet is the coof. Yep. Together, they embark on a media tour to warn the world, despite the fact the world doesn't really seem to give two hoots.
That's not how they've reacted at all to the coof.
Like the evil right wing did. The evil right wing did.
Yeah, the few states on Earth where everyone else on Earth was locked down. Great.
Yeah. While the movie has been widely praised for its not so subtle message about the dangers of ignoring climate change. Oh, is it about climate change? I thought it was the coof. As a piece, that does make a little bit more sense because it's him. Also, that's the thing he's all about. I was just saying how he doesn't make political movies. As a piece of cinema, things have been a little bit more divided. On Rotten Tomatoes, it aggregates reviews to give viewers a bit of an overall consensus. The film has a mediocre score of 56, 232 reviews. The last one he was in was The Great Gatsby, 48%, which was dog shit. Did you see that movie?
All I saw was memes. I didn't see the movie.
Fucking trash bag, dude.
Just remember the Jay-Z and Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake song. I don't remember the movie. I didn't really want to see it.
I mean, I love that book, and it was I walked out. It was unwatchable. And it was unwatchable. Like the edits, it was like every 4 seconds there was an edit. It was like a music video. It was so frenetic. It never slowed down. It was so ridiculous. Like it was trying to be like the Roaring '20s, but it was like a hip hop video. I was like, what is this movie? It was hot garbage.
The Great Gatsby. Yeah. Maybe they were trying to get that lightning in a bottle that was the what was that? Romeo and Juliet in the 90s.
Rough girl. Look at Leo. Yep, he could get it.
Man, there's something about you ever see Bezos' girl stare at him?
Yeah, no, the dude's magnetic.
It's like something about him and women, man. Good Lord. And that Bezos one, that was a red pilling moment. That just shows you can literally be one of the richest fucker on earth, but Leonardo DiCaprio can still fuck your bitch. And there's nothing you can do about it.
DiCaprio's chick is maybe the most gorgeous woman I've ever looked at in my entire life.
This month, that's always the case no matter who the fuck she is.
I know, but this one is just bananas. Like her body, her everything. It was to look at her face. Like I looked at her face, like face to face. I was just in my head. I'm like, I love you. You know what I mean? Like you just fall immediately for her. She was it's shockingly gorgeous. It was.
And now I gotta look her up.
I can't. I can't think of her. Yeah, Camilla Moroni. Oh, holy hell. Yeah, it's crazy. Like it's nuts.
Damn.
She was pretty cool. I mean, she was actually really nice. She wasn't stuck up or anything.
Yeah.
She was pretty funny. Yeah, her mom was there too, and her mom was hot. So
yeah, good genetics. Well, she's got to be funny because she could be replaced. She better be funny, charming. She listen.
Bro,
He's not gonna be stuck up.
DiCaprio was just like she was outside doing karaoke and just saying Leo, like come out there, and he just walked right on by and did not give a shit. I was like, yeah, this guy, he's such a baller. He's care.
Built different. Like people say that phrase, that fucker's built different. That's built different. He's the Tom Brady of getting pussy. Like that.
He's just the Tom Brady of that town too. Like I've been around so many super famous people, and like even he, like almost every time I ever saw him, he had the hat low. Like he didn't, even in his own crowd, he stands out too much.
Jeez. Well, part of it because he's tall. I'm looking when you say her body is perfect. I mean, hold on. Let's share the screen.
I feel like it's mathematically perfect.
Like did God give everyone this? Because I don't think they did.
Oh, she's nuts, dude.
Look at this.
Yeah.
It doesn't even look real. Look at the contour. It's just.
And her mouth, her face, it's insane.
I want to be Leo when I grow up, bro.
Yeah, me too.
We got to get more successful, and I got to get in better well, at least dad bod shape. He's just a dad bod. You could tell he couldn't give a fuck less.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't have to care. Yes. That's what makes it so awesome. He doesn't have to care. He's with this hot, super model. One of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. Easily. And he's just like, oh, God.
He's just not affected. Like I told you, she was trying to make him jealous by flirting with me because he just wasn't paying attention to her because he just doesn't care.
Because he doesn't.
He doesn't give a shit.
He could get a new one tomorrow. He already has her.
He already does. He's got. I mean, he's probably got them like a farm team just waiting.
A farm system.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like, man. Because he was fucking that one AT&T girl like way back before no one knew who she was.
That's
Kelly
son of
Brook.
a bitch.
Is that her name?
No.
I think it's someone else.
It's like Vanya or something. Or
whoever she was with the fucking big tig old bitties.
Oh my God, her body is nuts.
Yeah, man. See, this is the thing, Sean Connery versus Applesauce. Usually I would say she's too skinny, but she's one of those skinny but still has hips, still has chest. I don't care if it's natty or not. She just has that shape. That like
would if you had your pick, would it be the AT&T girl or this one?
I'm sorry to be like a ageist bigot, but she's younger and more attractive currently, so right now it would be her.
It would probably be her too, just because she's so beautiful too. Like it would just be such a surreal thing. But that other AT&T girl is bananas.
She's super thick.
Yeah,
she's super thick. Cosmo Fuse is an AT&T girl. 9 times out of 10, I would say that, but like, farm team is called high school. But what it is like he has these chicks ready, but they're usually like 22, 24. So it's like they're already ready.
Yep.
Maybe he is scouting them at high school and says, you know, when you get 22. If you haven't fucked your body up, slide the DM.
He probably doesn't even say shit. He probably has like a whole division of DiCaprio Incorporated that just like takes care of this for him, and then just presents him with a handful of finalists, and he just picks one.
That probably is exactly it.
You know,
that's exactly it.
Yeah. Well, we've been simping for a little while for some gorgeous girls.
Yeah.
Just wishing we were Leo.
So from real life Superman to actual Superman.
Look at that segue. What a professional.
That's how we segue. So there's a Bounding in the Comics article. It is not Bible long, but it's a lot of stuff. So I if it's okay, I wanted to get into the meat and potatoes,
so to speak,
of what's going on. So first off, I guess it looks like there's red. So
Cosmic Fusion. This stream took a weird turn. Yeah, it did. As opposed to all the other streams that don't. Well, that's what I like about this show that we do, that like sometimes we'll just go off on a tangent about football or DiCaprio's hot girlfriend. Like I kind of like that. I think that's fun.
Yeah. So it looks like he was in I'm trying to get the exact thing of what was going on, but he had some low grade kryptonite that it didn't kill him.
Did he have a kryptonite butt plug?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. So Superman is without his powers because of low grade kryptonite. And they brought him to the camp. He was held for 8 months, starvation.
What?
Yes, Superman. Starvation.
8 months?
8 months.
Good Lord.
Yes. This wasn't a one-time thing.
Wait a second. 8 months of being used as a propaganda tool to prove the weakness of the West. Wait, so is this anti-commie propaganda or pro?
It's pro buck breaking Superman, which I never thought I would ever say that sentence ever. Because that's where we haven't gotten to the point. Like there's a lot of jokes. Oh, Superman got great. Like no, it's heavily implied.
I know. Sorry, I just didn't mean to cut you off there, but I don't like the face that they put on Superman. Like I don't like the sad face. Like if he's Superman, right? He's the toughest man ever. Like, wouldn't you want to just see a defiant look on his face, or like just like a muted, like I'm not giving you anything kind of look? Like him being broken is really very depressing.
Yeah, it's like, well, what they're trying to do is break the mail. This is their symbolism for breaking the mail. I know that could be hyperbole. But who wrote this? This was them. We are trying to break the mail. So this is after 8 months of being starved and forced. This is Superman broken. Because you're right. If this is a real Superman story, even without his power, Superman himself would like not kneel. It would be like, fuck that.
Yeah. Like even if he went down, like there's a Superman Dies comic from the 90s, where he fights Doomsday, and it's a tragedy. He's slumped, broken, and everyone's just like, it's horrible. But they maintain the integrity of the character. They've robbed him of his dignity.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that was the point, but it's still just depressing to see. You know what I mean? It is still Superman, for God's sake. It's like, for fuck's sake. I guess, you know what, when they made him, because this is Clark Kent Superman, by the way. I know I should do tons of research and shit, but like I work a trillion hours. So you would think, okay, they made Sun gay, made him Superman, they did all that, and that would be enough, but it's not. They have to break him physically and literally, like you said, take his dignity. So I do want to read more panels, because I do want to get to the infamous part that's kind of they did things. So that's what Central Dildo's saying. So like you said, I was held for 8 months, starvation, indoctrination, forced labor, held to be used as a propaganda tool for the weakness of the West. But I'm Superman, right? Superman's invulnerable. Superman can survive anything. That was the lie I told myself every night as he looks broken in this corner. But every day, they would drag me into the interview room. Every day, they left me exposed and vulnerable. And every day for 8 months, they did things to me. They did things to me while I was forced to look at him. I guess this is Nikolai Kozlov, the Sherinav, the devil of Lubania, the man who single-handedly caused the deaths of thousands of people simply because no one cared enough to stop him. Because he's probably the Orange Man thing. But yeah.
So you're reading into it that he was raped.
Every day. This is the actual quote. Every day for 8 months, they ... they did things to me. I absolutely think that's the implication.
It does seem like it. I mean, look at his face.
Yes.
Right? Because it's like, yeah.
Right here, his face.
There's enough plausible deniability from their point of view, but it does highly suggest it.
Or did the In Too Deep thing where they use this as the, they put this up the ass, basically. I should have been more subtle, but I wasn't. So they just strip him and then shove a stick in his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, like I said, like, you know, even when they killed Superman, like they maintained his dignity, they kept the integrity of the character. You know, like it was for the fans. This is clearly one of those things where they're doing it simply to embarrass the character, to embarrass the fans, to humiliate the West. The funny thing about it is that they're the same people that would argue there's, you know, homosexuality, this, that, and how having sex with a man, there's nothing wrong with this, that, and the other. It's like, yet then you humiliate him by having him be anally raped. Why would that be why is that a bad thing? I mean, according to your worldview, like that's something to be embraced and be proud of. But it's like, so what is your point of view? It's like the same people that like mock, you know, masculinity and, you know, guys who like, you know, would not like this and be like, well, I bet you can't even get laid. It's like, wait, how is that not toxic masculinity? What you like from your worldview, like you mocking someone from not being able to have sex, wouldn't that fall into the category of toxic masculinity? It's like they totally use the things that they claim are part of their enemy as an attack on their enemy. It's insane.
Yeah, I've pointed it out in the past where they'll say something where it's like, oh, you're not a real man, or you're feminine. They'll attack men and say like, oh, they're effeminate, but at the same time you're encouraging like homosexuality and all this other stuff. But Sean Connery versus Applesauce asking logical questions. Where the fuck is the Justice League? Superman's just been captured for 8 months. Green Lantern doesn't show up. Batman doesn't show up. No one says, hey, where the fuck is Superman? Flash can't help. Wonder Woman is busy. You know, nobody for 8 months could find this motherfucker. For fuck's sake.
Yeah.
But I guess, you know.
I just saw that Gary's going live on his nooner. Stick with us another 20 minutes. 20 more minutes. Then you go hang out with Gary. Just give us a little more time.
Yes. Don't leave us.
No, we need you.
Yeah.
That is, that's kind of right up their alley. But that's exactly what they fucking do. That's their thing. I mean, it's right in line with everything they've done in comic books and mass media, you know, as long as they've been at the helm.
True. But something feels different about this. Like they never...
You know what? Something is different about this, and it's prompting people to respond. So I actually have another article that's that's right in line with this, and it says Chuck Dixon says changing American icons like Superman and Captain America to fit modern times is a crime.
It kind of is.
Oh, it is, but
it's a culture crime.
100%. But the reason why I bring it up is because it's the same thing as that guy who was a comic like writer or inker or whatever who said no, Superman's truth, justice, and the American way is his motto. Like when this is almost like a bridge too far. Like taking down Superman is prompting responses from people who have been quiet about this for a long time.
Yeah. Chuck Dixon, isn't he known to be kind of a... I'm trying to think, who's Chuck Dixon? I feel like I know that name, and I can't think if he's
cool a comic book writer.
Yeah. He wrote something important, though, and I can't think.
Punisher.
Is it Punisher? Is he a Punisher guy?
It says, he wrote, worked on Punisher, Batman, Nightwing, and Robin in the 90s and 2000s.
Okay.
So he's no slouch. He's a real comic book contributor.
Yeah.
I mean, he worked on the Punisher in the 90s. That's like vintage Punisher.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Punisher's heyday, really.
Yeah, that's the shit that I used to read when I was a kid. That's some badass stuff. I love that stuff. So recently we showed you what Superman co-creator Jerry Siegel thought of his character standing for American way and why he approved of that. His words come from a 40-year-old interview, but have new resonance today when DC Comics is changing and misusing the Man of Steel. Well, another writer who knows a thing or two about the publisher and their characters went into further detail as to why Superman is such a pure American hero who would never turn his back on those principles. Nice. In episode 83 of his Q&A series, writer Chuck Dixon devoted an entire video to the essence of comics' first superhero and one of USA's biggest icons, and what his origins have to do with the experience of the Jewish American creators in the 1920s and during World War II.
Yeah.
Gangster,
it's funny
dude.
That element's never brought about because, like, he was made by Jewish people in the 30s who had the whole point of Superman was that he was an immigrant. They were Jewish immigrants, and they wanted to kind of capture that an allegory. They didn't want to be overt, and so that element is never thought of. They just think of him as this white symbol, which he is white, but it's like the whole point was that he was a immigrant. He could be from anywhere.
Well, he's an American symbol, that's the most important.
Symbol. Yeah. He is the symbol of America. When you talk about, like, if you look at different cultures, and like different cultures have different like little symbology to them. You know what I mean? The Egyptians have
symbology there.
Symbology. That's the right word. You bigot.
Symbolism. The word you're
looking for. But they do. They have different, like, if you look at we have a thought of what in our head of what Egyptian culture looks like, even if we are ancient Egyptian culture. There's different little pyramids and all sorts of shit. I'm not going into the Illuminati shit, Central Dildo. I'm just talking about that's what the culture looks like. We know what the Sphinx. There are certain characters and shit that just are a part of that culture. Superman is like that for America. He's like one of those things that there's the bald eagle, there's the flag, and Superman. You can only go so far before you get to Superman.
That's true.
And
I mean, truth, justice, and the American way is pretty American.
He's the idealistic version of the American dream. He's what we all wish we could be. Just this benevolent superhero, this Superman. And just to break him, it's like, did you really have to do this? Yeah, I get it. I get it, but it's like,
why did you think that would be sacred to them?
I wouldn't think I wouldn't think they would go this far. And I know it sounds crazy. Like there is no limits, but it's just like you had to. What was the point? What did you just woke up one day like, you know what we could do? We can rape Superman. Yeah, we can. Let's do it. Fucking patriarchal white male, symbol of the patriarchy. I think it's interesting to me as somebody who kind of thinks like, unfortunately, a lot of black people think white people live in Disney movies.
Bye, rough girl.
Bye, rough girl. Bye. Superman was always gay. Tights wearing, in public outfits, changing, flamboyant man. I mean, there's something whatever.
That's pretty funny.
But like, as a black man, I have an interesting thought because, like I said, unfortunately, a lot of my people think that white people just live in this like crazy Disney movie happy land, and it's interesting to see something that I like. If this was a black character, a lot of people would complain like this is buck breaking because it is. This is actually the symbology of buck breaking, but they're doing it with the most American buck breaking, BUCK breaking. Okay,
buck breaking.
Buck breaking. It's a slavery term. You can look it up on your own. It's pretty fucked up stuff. But that's exactly what they're doing to Superman. They are breaking his manhood in this very public way because they knew this would pick up. Even if no one reads their fucking comics now, they knew that something like this would get a start. So they're like, it's like, I can believe you did it, but I can't at the same time. And
I would be surprised if they didn't, honestly. Like if they already made his son gay.
Yeah, I thought they would stop there. I thought they got what they wanted. Like, all right, you already got what you wanted with this character, move on. But they're like, nah, not you. We have something special for you.
No, it's almost the most important, right? Because it's the most important symbol, and it's the one that's pure, like the purest and pure American. It's like you have to break it down. Like that's by their worldview. Like what they like. It would be weird if they found it sacred to me. I'd be like, why do they have respect for this?
I mean,
that would confuse me.
I guess I'm not even saying find it sacred, but it's like it feels like they went above and beyond. Like they have a normal playbook. They went deep, no pun intended, in that playbook for this one. Just because I don't remember them doing this to any other character. Like, I say that they did make
they made Wolverine gay.
They made Wolverine gay, but again,
Cyclops.
It wasn't. They made Wolverine and Cyclops gay, and then they made
Captain America's a Nazi.
Captain America not, but like they didn't sexually assault them. That just seems like a new level of meanness. It's one thing to make them gay, or they made Star-Lord gay, and that's an example of what you're talking about. They're trying to make fun of what's his name, Chris Pratt, by making this character gay. But I thought being gay was what you wanted. So yeah,
right.
But like, it's one thing to make a character gay. It's another thing to just to literally take his manhood like this.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that they've ramped it up.
Yeah.
But it's still, to me, it's exactly in line with what they do. Like, I'm not surprised by it. I'm bothered that, DC Comics has been so completely hijacked that they would allow this to happen, that we live in a world where this happens. Like, and like, we're talking about the normies. Like, I think if I went back and told my dad about this, like, it would probably be just so, like, upsetting. He'd just be like, like, he wouldn't even be able to be like, like, to process it,
Yeah, you like,
he was just ignore it, just look the other way.
Yeah. And geez, fucking Cosmic Fusion calling it now they can have Superman join the sun in a second.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Cosmic. All right, man. Take it easy.
He was asking for it in that cape. I don't know what's going on, man. This, to me, is just, this was a step too far. It's one, like I said, changing everyone into your, changing the world versus your ideals and making everyone, trans woman of color. That's annoying in and of itself. That's not understandable, but okay, I've gotten used to that. But now we're at the point where we're just going to take characters and just torture them and assault them for the sake of doing it. Now we're in a different place. Now it's like, wow, this is really like, they're not resting on their laurels, are they? They're going to just ramp it up to the next. So is this going to be the new norm? Is every character going to take it up the poop chute from now on, forcefully?
Wouldn't it be great if Henry Cavill's like, that's a bunch of bullshit? Like, if he was like public about it, that would rule.
I would love that. I would love somebody saying, okay, listen, this was too much.
That would be awesome.
Anybody publicly saying, listen, this is Superman. You didn't have to do that. That was hitting below the belt. So
when did this story break? Because maybe we will. Maybe this story will develop. When did this come out?
Well, yeah, because I don't know. It's, this could be for a comic that hasn't even dropped yet, because it could be like earlier. Oh, Jesus Christ. Now I'm actually reading this article. I probably should read this article. Let me read.
All right, yeah, go back, yeah.
Or at least read some of it. Oy fucking vey. So it was not an accidental buck breaking. It was a legitimate buck breaking. It's according to 12 Years a Slave screenplay writer turned comics author John Ridley. So when I said buck breaking,
oh wow, you nailed it.
I hit that bitch on the head. That's exactly what this was.
Wow.
His decision to pen a story for DC Comics in which Superman is implied to have been sexually tormented during one of his previous Silver Age adventures was made in order to provide commentary on his personal perception. The prevailing culture in the country is when bad things happen to people who are traditionally marginalized, there's this feeling of, okay, we get it. It was wrong. Let's just move on.
What else are we supposed to do? Like, what is your other solution? That we go back 200 years and exhume the body and put it in a museum? Like, what possible solution is there to the fact that there were horrors in the world? Is to just remember them every day, all day, and never progress and never move forward and never separate the past from the future forever?
Yeah, so that way you'll always feel down and you'll always vote Democrat.
Yeah, exactly. There's no power play here whatsoever. It's got nothing to do with weaponizing the status of your relatives from back in the day. Yeah, okay.
This is you know what? I get to buck break the whitest white man I can. That was the point of this.
That's what it sounds
like. That's wild to me, man. That's wild to me. It's just because I'm not. Listen, I'm not a. Oh shit! People knocking upstairs. I'm not sure you guys heard that from my apartment.
Didn't hear it. I didn't.
Okay, I hope nobody got knocked the fuck down. But listen, I am not somebody who says, "Oh, there's no racism now," or "There's the race," but I'm not also somebody who just gives into this racial narrative and lives by it, because I think that's its own limit. You know what I mean? Like, how can you say you live in a racist country where they allowed you to do this? Because there had to have been white people who could have said, "Whoa, bro, are you serious?" But no, they allowed you to do it. Somebody drew it. Somebody drew the shit and wrote the shit off the shit that you wrote, and they put it out on one of the biggest corporations, because Warner Brothers still to this day one of the biggest corporations on earth and one of the most famous characters on earth. That's what they let you do, because we're a country that, even despite all the bullshit with this platform and others, there is still free speech, and you're still allowed to do it. So am I saying everything's perfect in this country, or is there's no history of racism still having some ripple effects on society? No, but this isn't. We're not in Yahtzee, Germany. We're not even in the 1800s. We're in a modern day where there's a lot of shit to work on, both ways and all ways. But it's not something worth like living my life and getting so caught up on. I think with certain people like him, there's also the profit thing. You have to be a professional, professionally outraged, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
But just at a certain point, I have to live my, like, trying to get up and get everything you have to get done for any day for any person on this earth is not an easy task.
So I mean, from his point of view, right? Like, let's just take his supposition about the nature of America as given. Let's just say, for the sake of this discussion, that America is incredibly racist and all their white supremacy, theories are accurate. Just for the sake of this, what does this help?
I don't even know.
How do black people become liberated after you do this to Superman?
That's the best question to ask. I have no idea. I don't know what the point is supposed to be.
Are more black people going to go to college now? Like, what is this? How does this help anything with the struggle of black people in America? Is this going to spark a nationwide discussion about buck breaking? And then what? And then what will happen? Like, what is the idea with carrying this flame for the tragedy of the past and being like, that'll make the future better? And it only seems to make it worse.
I think the point is, if we're to assume this quote, his point is to make it as if, okay, I'm still trying to understand, like, the idea that, okay, we all know, well, I'm not gonna say we all know, some people don't know what, because there's young kids every day, but slavery happened. There's a lot of fucking tragic shit that happened, and I guess the idea is he wants more focus on it, but like at a certain point. So why? Here's what my question has been to these people, to kind of, it's almost a piggyback off of your point. As a black man, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to consistently focus on this shit all the time and never get anything done, never try to open up my own business and try to create something for the next generation of black people, never do anything actually progression? Y'all stay like, progressive. Shouldn't I try to progress?
Yeah, like, isn't the healthiest mentality is to separate yourself from that past? Because it's like, it's not you. It's a sad thing that it happened, that your relatives went through that, but it's like, it's not you now.
Yeah.
And so what is the good of, like, seeing yourself as that? How does that help you move forward or be a better part of society or help the black community overall? I don't see the virtue in any of that.
I think the thought is, if you lower white men's self-esteem low enough, like, I don't know. I have no idea what the actual thought is.
I mean, I could see, like, from their angle that would make sense. That doesn't help the country, though, because it's still like the largest population would be white people. So if you have a bunch of dejected, angry, low self-esteem white people, how does that help the overall quality of the country?
It doesn't, but I think we're applying a lot more critical thought than critical race theory gets.
Well, hey, listen, this motherfucker went to college. He went to Indiana State and New York University. He's an acclaimed screenwriter. If he can't have this level of conversation, then what the fuck are you doing contributing to the conversation?
That's a good point.
Asshole. You know what I mean? Like, you want to critique our myths and take away everything that, like, America stands for. Well, then you better have some fucking solutions.
Yeah, but there's never solutions, because all of this shit is not to find solutions. It's to find more problems. I don't want to go too far without acknowledging Sean Connery tipped $4.20, the best tip smoking. Hopefully the Screen doesn't go all crazy as I look for the tip.
Doobing it up.
He's the best tip smoking. He says Superman Red and Blue Volume 1. Oh, that's the dates of this. So this was Superman Red and Blue Volume 1, published May 21 to October 21. So is this from last year? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, that's just... I think that illustrates just how impactful his social conversation piece was. We're just getting wind of it now.
Yeah, and that was another element of why do they do this, because it's like comic books aren't popular at all anymore. They're not even as popular as they were just a few fucking years ago, let alone the heyday of the 90s or the 80s or whatever. So it's like, I get the character still matters, but like this actually did apparently go under the radar for a few months. So it's not like we even knew that this happened. This isn't the biggest platform that it once was. Superman, even though he's a still beloved character, his popularity is not what it once was. I feel like Spider-Man, the Avengers, even Batman are way more popular to the normie than Superman is, even though, 90s on back, it was Superman.
Yeah, I think it's also because the movies aren't as good.
Yeah, that's really
that has a lot to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's approaching 2, and I know you have to get going.
Yeah. Real quick, Cinch and Dildo, Croatian, so he may know a little bit more about this in the Balkan area. It's not supposed to make the country better. It's supposed to destroy it so they can make a new one. And yeah, I think maybe that is the...
Oh, that's... I mean, I already know that that's the case, but I'm trying to just engage with the conversation and... You know what I mean? Just be like, okay, why are you saying this? Instead of just like, all right, more communism, because that's all it is anyway. But of course I know that. But it's like I want to just, let's engage. Let's get into the nuts and bolts of what it exactly is you're trying to accomplish here, sir.
Yeah. And Zax brings up a point that's not brought up enough. Isn't it racist to presume that all black people have enslaved family members? Because, yeah, all black people are not descendants of slaves.
Right.
So, all right, I guess, yeah. Do got to get out of here. It is about that time to depart. Is there anything else that you want
to
talk
fret
about?
Fret not. If you are missing out, if you want more Culture Crime Fighters action, you can subscribe to... Yeah, you get ready to go, Pat. You can subscribe to our Patreon, which is live right now. 2 new episodes in the past 2 days. The first one is Childhood Mischief. This one is about bad work stories, but there's also the story of us losing our virginity and our experience with drugs. Very controversial stuff. Needs to be behind a paywall. $5 a month gets you access. 4 new episodes a month. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. More Culture Crime Fighters action for your mind.
Yes. Yes, please check us out. We really appreciate the patrons we have. We do already have a few patrons. Thank you. Thank you, Crime Squad, for your contribution. And yeah, man, it's fun stuff over there. A little bit different than what we do here. So please check it out. Please check it out.
And you can't be officially part of the Crime Squad until you subscribe. So
yeah, got to be a part of it. Oh, Jesus, Cosmic Fusion. Spoiler: massive virgin and drugs led to the Mohawk. Cannot confirm nor deny. You need to pay to find out.
I wonder how my life would be different if I was a virgin.
That would I don't know if that would be better or worse.
I don't know either.
It depends.
It'd probably be worse. I'd probably be very angry and resentful if I hadn't gotten laid.
But these bitches are crazy, so you're not missing out on much.
Yeah. Well, when's your next stream coming up, Vitch?
Yeah, I don't know. I could stream because I'm in a weird schedule. I'll probably definitely stream Saturday as far as solo stuff, but I'm just kind of just streaming retro games when I can.
Toxic Man Flu subscribed on the Patreon.
Hey.
Hell.
Thank you, Toxic Man Flu. I appreciate it.
Hell. Well, I think I'll probably be streaming Witcher 3 tonight.
All right, dope.
Playing a little bit more of that. And then tomorrow, 8 o'clock on my channel, second to last episode of The Expanse, I'll be streaming. And the last episode, I'm trying to get a special guest, trying to work on it. We'll see if it comes through. I don't want to spoil it in case it doesn't, but I'm trying to get a big shot to come talk The Expanse on Thursday. So, yeah, I got nothing else.
All right.
Cocktail Lounge Friday night.
Yeah, Cocktail Lounge. Shout out to the bots.
Shouts to the bots, baby.
Bots for
Make
the
the world go round.
Feel
bots
honored. And yeah, my next stream could be, who knows? It could be in 4 4,000 minutes next Saturday. It could be, it could be 4 a.m. It could be next Saturday. I will probably stream on Saturday at some point. Couldn't tell you which time. I'm in a random place because I'm in a very stressed out place and I'm working a lot. So yeah. But anyways, I appreciate everybody for watching. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do that. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Have a good day. God bless. I'll see you guys later.
Join the Crime Squad.
Yes, join the Crime Squad. Give us money. Thank you, Tots. Peace.
Peace.